Good day, I am Mark Angelo Galvez from Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering Section 1E. And for today's video, it is all about coefficient of restitution. So first, coefficient of restitution. It is defined as the ratio between the relative velocity of recession v'2 minus v'1 after a collision between the two bodies and their relative velocity of approach v1 minus v2. It is the number which integrates how much kinetic energy or the energy motion remains after collision of two objects. So we have here E equals v'2 minus v'1 over v1 minus v2. It is the value of E range from 0 to 1. In a perfect elastic collision, E is equal to 1. And in a perfectly inelastic collision, E is equal to 0. So let's move to the example number 1. In example number 1, a ball dropped on a floor from a height of 1.5 meter bounces back to a height of 0.85. So the problem is, what is the coefficient of the restitution? So let's say, in this problem, wala tayong given na values ng velocities. But we can still solve the value of the coefficient of restitution by deriving the equation. So say this is the floor. And this is the ball that goes down. The height of the ball is 1.5 meter. So drop from the height of 1.5 meter and nag-bounce back siya after collision. So let's say dito tayo. Then pababa siya. So after mag-bounce, the ball goes up. And the height is 0.85 meter. So, yung ball, i-consider natin as object 1. And yung floor naman is the object 2. Before the collision, of course, yung floor ay hindi gumagalaw at rest. At rest lang siya, same after the collision. So, ibig sabihin, we have v2 equals v2 prime equals to 0. So, i-consider natin yung pataas as positive and yung pababa naman is negative. So, ang formula natin for coefficient restitution is E equals v2 prime minus v1 prime over v1 minus v2. So, 0 natin yung v2 prime at v2. Cancel natin. So, we have now negative v1 prime over negative v1. From kinematic, meron tayong formula na v squared equals VO or v(O) squared plus 2g multiplied by y minus y(O) or h. So take note na yung velocity natin before the collision, eto. So, lagay na lang natin siya as v1. Since ball ang pinag-uusapan natin, pababa siya. So this is the negative. Before the collisions, ang initial velocity natin, since dinrop lang yung ball from rest, is v(O) squared is 0. So we have v squared equals v(O) squared plus 2gh. So square root natin both side. Maka-cancel ngayon si square dot square root. Matitira na lang is v equals square root of 2gh. Yan yung initial height natin, or yan yung height natin before the collision. So, yung negative v(1) equals square root of 2gh. Pinag-uusapan natin pababa siya, so this is negative. So, sa in naman, equals negative square root of 2gh. Pinag-usapan naman dito yung negative v sub 1 prime. So, after the collision from the formula sa kinematics. So, ang initial ulit natin is 0. So, we have v squared equals 2gh prime. Height na 0.85 meter. So, height final after collision. Square root natin both side para makancel si squared. Square root of 2gh prime. Cancel natin si square root tsaka si squared. We have now v equals square root of 2gh. Take note that yung velocity na ito ay positive kasi pataas yung bola. Upward yung velocity. So now we have square root of 2gh prime. So E equals negative square root of 2ghi over or divide by negative square root of 2gh. Again, ito, negative to kasi downward yung motion before the collision. So, in this equation, pwede natin i-cancel yung negative sign. So, 2g na lang yung matitira. Cancel natin. So, we have now E equals square root of h prime over square root of h. By substituting the value, E equals square root of 0.85 meter over square root of 1.5 meter. So, yung value na to, yung height na after collision. So, do the math. 0.753 is the answer for example number 1. Walang unit ang coefficient restitution. So, this is the example number 1.